day everyone, I'm Chili Nunez.
And I'm Clinton Nunez. We are the Group 6 reporters for the topic Sexual Self.
Sexual self is one of the most crucial aspects of human development. It highlights biological and environmental factors that shape sexual development. Also, it is a vital aspect of one's identity. It encompasses the biological, physical, emotional, and social domains.
Alright, let's get started on what is sexual self, defined as an individual evaluation of his or her own sexual feelings and actions. It is proposed an important predictor of contraceptive behavior among teenagers, and skill measuring the concept is described. Another definition is, it refers to the totality of oneself as a sexual being, including positive and negative concepts and feelings. According to theories, sexual self-concept is described well along three dimensions: sexual self-esteem, sexual depression, and sexual preoccupation. And now, I will turn over you to Trilly Nunez for the three dimensions of sexual self.
Sexual self has three dimensions. First, sexual self-esteem, the feelings you have about your body and your confidence level, and how you relate intimately to someone else. I wanted to share to you some tips and tricks on how to improve self-esteem. First is avoid dwelling on past negative experiences. Second is believe you are equal to everyone else, no better and no worse. Third, express your needs. Fourth, feel confident. Fifth, have a positive outlook on life. Sixth, say no when you want to. Last but not the least, see your overall strengths and weaknesses and accept them. The second dimension is sexual depression, the experience of feelings of depression regarding one's sex life. Further details on this one are inability to experience pleasure, loss of interest in activities, low energy levels, mood swings, and reduced self-esteem. The third dimension is sexual preoccupation, the tendency to think about sex to an excessive degree.
Now, let's talk about sexual identity and gender orientation. A person who loves in a very special way someone who is the same gender is a gay. For example, a gay me wants to be involved in a love another man. A gay person may choose to have a special relation with someone and share a home and have a family together. The word gay means to people of the same gender, a man and a man, or a woman and a woman, who love each other. It describes a boy who wants to have a boyfriend or a girl who wants to have a girlfriend. Gay can refer to either men or women, but gay are also called lesbians, which will be discussed later. Another sexual identity and gender orientation is the transgender people. There are people whose gender identity is different from gender they were taught to be at birth. Trans is often used as shorthand for transgender. When we're born, a doctor usually says we're male or female based on what our bodies look like. Most people who were labeled male at birth turn out to actually identify as men. And most people who were labeled female at birth grew up to women, but some people's gender identity, their innate knowledge of who they are, is different from what was initially expected when they were born. Most of these people describe themselves as transgender. Being transgender means different things of different people. Like a lot of other aspects of who people are, like race or religion, there's no one way to be transgender, and no one way for transgender people to look or feel about themselves. The best way to understand what being transgender is like is to talk with transgender people and listen to their stories.
Another sexual identity and gender orientation is bisexual. A simple definition of bisexual is people who experience sexual and emotional attractions and feelings for people of different genders at some point during their lives. So who is bisexual? We have alternating bisexuals. We have a relationship with a man and then after that relationship ends. We choose a female partner for a subsequent relationship and many go back to a male partner in the future.
We have circumstantial bisexuals, primarily heterosexual but will choose same-sex partners only if they have no access to other sex partners, such as when in jail, in the military, or in a gender-segregated school.
We have concurrent relationship bisexuals, have primary relationship with one gender only but have other casual or secondary relationships with people of another gender at the same time.
We have conditional bisexuals, either straight or gay or lesbian, but will switch to a relationship with other gender for a specific purpose, such as young straight males who become gay prostitutes to make money or lesbians who get married to men in order to gain acceptance from family members or to have children.
We have emotional bisexuals, have deeply intimate emotional relationships with both men and women, but only have sex with one gender.
We have integrated bisexuals, have more than one primary relationship at the same time, one with a man and one with a woman.
We have exploratory bisexuals, either straight or gay or lesbian, but have sex with another gender just to satisfy curiosity or see what it's like.
We have hedonistic bisexuals, primarily straight or gay or lesbian, but will sometimes have recreational sex with a different gender purely for sexual satisfaction.
We have recreational bisexuals, primarily heterosexual but engage in gay or lesbian sex only when under the influence of drugs and or alcohol.
We have isolated bisexuals, 100% straight or gay or lesbian now but has had at one or more sexual experience with another gender in the past.
We have latent bisexuals, completely straight or gay, lesbian in behavior. They have strong desire for sex with another gender but have never acted on it.
We have motivational bisexuals, straight women who have sex with other women to please their male partner who requests it for his own titillation.
And the last, transitional bisexual, temporarily identify as bisexual while in the process of moving from being straight to being gay or lesbian, or going from being gay or lesbian to being heterosexual.
While literally millions of people are bisexual, most keep their sexual orientation secret. So bisexual people as a group are nearly invisible in society. Gay men and lesbian women have long recognized the need to join together, create community, and to organize politically. Long years of hard work have led to significant gains in political and human rights, as well as a visible and thriving gay and lesbian community. Bisexual people have been much slower to come out of the closet, create community, and form political and social networks to gain visibility and political clout.
The last, sexual identity and gender orientation. A lesbian is a homosexual woman. The word lesbian is also used for women in relation to their sexual identity or sexual behavior, regardless of sexual orientation. or as an adjective to characterize or associate nouns with female homosexuality or same-sex attraction.
The concept of lesbian to differentiate women with a shared sexual orientation evolved in the 20th century. Throughout history, women have not had the same freedom or independence as men to pursue homosexual relationships, but neither have they made the same harsh punishment as homosexual men in some societies. Instead, lesbian relationships have often been regarded as harmless unless participant attempts to assert privileges traditionally enjoyed by men. The difference between biological sex and gender. At birth, one's sexuality depends on his or her physical features and genitals. Most of the time, one's sexuality and gender orientation corresponds with each other. However, biological sex and gender orientation are two different things. Biological sex is one assignment upon birth and is dependent on physical features. On the other hand, gender is an identity that is learned, embraced by an individual. It goes beyond biological domains and is both a personal and social construct. As a social construct, gender comprises the socially created roles, personality, traits, attitudes, behaviors, and values attributed to men and women. It also includes the relative power and influence of each, indicating the gender is relational and refers not simply to women or men but the relationship between them. Thus, gender is anchored on societal beliefs and norms. Gender roles refers to societal expectations of how men and women should act. Everyone has a basic idea of gender roles. Men are assumed to be strong and dominant, and women perceived to be submissive and demure. Aside from the problems with this assumption, gender and biological sex are always the same. A person maybe have been born but assumes womanly traits while a woman may behave like a man. This is an aspect of sexual orientation which manifests itself in relationships. A guy who is attracted to girls is considered heterosexual, while someone who is attracted to the same sex is called homosexual.
Alright, that is about sexual self. To wrap up, it is important to highlight one's self-expression and moreover, become responsible in doing so. This responsibility also applies to expressing of one's behavior in various situations entails consequences. An individual needs to realize the effects of such actions and how one can regulate his or her own behavior, including his or her sexual behavior. Again, I'm Chili Nunez.
And I'm Clinton Nunez.
Thank
Thank
you
you
for
for
listening,
listening,
guys.
guys.